we shall move on anyway. This week we have a Q&A, I believe, on the
We
main
got like 10
episode.
questions here.
So Tyler's got a few questions to go over. We're going to cover some questions before we obviously mention what we're going to be doing in the real quicks. Tyler, if you want to go over the questions and we'll answer them.
Shout out
That's
to our
kind of how it works.
patrons who asked all these questions. Check out our Patreon and the link down below. We have a lot of stuff coming, especially for the Real Talk Award Show this year. We're doing a lot of big things, so we could really use your support on the Patreon. And you get to ask us questions like this, join our Discord, movie watch alongs, all kinds of great stuff. So go check it out in the description down below. So shout out to all the patrons for these questions. So Roka 1.0 asks, what's a movie quote that changed your life or had a huge impact? Is there anything off the top of your head that comes to mind?
Oh my God. You really hit us.
I feel like George, I feel you always have like quotes in the back pocket. You always pull out quotes.
I don't have them in the back pocket. Like I've loved putting quotes from movies in my Letterboxd reviews that like stick with me. But these aren't quotes that like I just knew off the top of my head before I watched these movies. These are quotes that like while I was watching a movie, I just happened to love it. Like from Almost Famous most recently, Philip Seymour Hoffman drops this line. The only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're uncool. And I thought that line was fucking amazing. Another line from the same movie, Almost Famous, is, and if you ever get lonely, you could just go to a record store and visit your friend. And I thought that was just such a powerful quote. But I don't know. There's so many, like I'm sure I could pull a lot from After Sun that I love. Like I love that quote Frankie Corio says, oh God, give me 2 seconds and I'll pull it up. The quote that Frankie Corio says from, God, where is it? I know I have this on deck somewhere. Yeah. I think it's nice that we share the same sky. And then Paul Mescal says, what do you mean? And she's like, well, like sometimes at playtime, I look up at the sky and if I see the sun, then I think that the fact that we can both see the same sun. So even though we're not actually in the same place, and we're not actually together, we kind of are in a way, you know, like we're both underneath the same sky, so kind of together. And I thought that was just such a fantastic quote from that movie. So I don't know. I don't have anything like powerful off the top of my head.
You just pulled like 3 powerful ones off the top of your head.
No, these were not off the top of my head. I pulled up my Letterboxd and my TikTok. But yeah, but like as I guess what I'm trying to say is as I go deeper, I'm sorry for ranting so long on this, but like as I go deeper into like my film journey, that's something I've tried to pay attention to more, just like powerful lines of dialogue. Like it's something I'm trying to just pay attention to more while watching movies.
Seth, do you have any off the top of your head?
I actually don't. It's not something I don't know. There'll be loads. If I looked through my Letterboxd and saw a film, like, oh yeah, I love this one, but it's not something. I can't really say that one changed my life. I think it's more the film itself. I don't really see a line of dialogue and be like, okay, that's had a massive impact. Well, it depends. Depends on the film's topics. Most of the ones I'd probably give you would be stupid ones that aren't related to life at all. It'd be like a line from Lord of the Rings, for example. It'd be like something like that. Something related to a film I love rather than something that's going to give me important life advice. Does that make sense?
Do you know what, sorry to interrupt it. Do you know what line from Lord of the Rings I just have ingrained in my head? And it's like the one line from Lord of the Rings that like, anytime I think of Lord of the Rings, this is the line that just pops up.
You're a wizard, Harry.
No, it's I am no man.
Mate, that's like one of my favorite lines in ever. That's one of my favorite scenes.
It's one of my favorite scenes from the entire trilogy. It's one of my favorite lines. I don't know what it is about that line, but every time Lord of the Rings pops up on Twitter or TikTok, the one thing I think of is I am no man.
Know what
and then she just
you know what it is. Powerful characters in fantasy, powerful female characters in fantasy are Tenor Penny. Peter Jackson did it really, really well by putting that in there. Especially in that. That was perfect. I agree. That's one of mine. Yeah. Anything from a film I love, I probably like. It's just something I haven't heard.
Like not a powerful quote, but like I absolutely love I'm Always Gonna Love You from La La Land. Like I'm sure, Tyler, you feel the same. Like it's not like I say that to Victoria every other day, probably.
You love the film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a powerful line, but it's just like it's one of those memorable lines, and it's just one of those lines that just wraps up this movie so beautifully.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I don't have them in my back pocket like George does, or have them in my Letterboxd reviews. But from Good Will Hunting, when Robin Williams says, "Do you think I'd know the first thing about how hard your life has been, how you feel, who you are, because I read Oliver Twist?" I think it's just like so many times in this world, people will just see like, I'll be like, Seth likes working out and he's British. I know everything now about Seth's entire life. Or like George lives in New York City and loves movies. I now know everything about it. Like so often in today's world, people just like see one thing about someone. Like I have you completely figured out. I know your entire life story, and it's just not the case. So I'll throw that one out for a quote. Okay, Dylan Chip asks, off the top of your head, quick reaction, favorite actor and actress.
All of these off the
That
top
one's
of my
easy.
head.
But that
Yeah,
quick
they-
reaction, the first
No.
one that comes to your mind. That's the point.
Let's say,
They-
can we say working?
Yeah,
Just 'cause it's
working.
I'm going all time, whatever. Christian Bale is my favorite actor.
Okay.
Obviously, it goes beyond The Dark Knight. I just love him in everything. I think he was disgustingly snubbed at the Oscars for his performance as Dick Cheney the year Rami Malek won for Bohemian Rhapsody. Obviously, I know that's not a very well-received movie, but I think that performance is just in the rafters all time. And then he obviously has a slew of others. Tyler, you love The Prestige, and I love him in that movie. Actress, off the top of my head, I'll pull Amy Adams, but I really don't know. Emma Stone, honestly, is like slowly climbing my ranks. Even on the male side, Tom Hardy with every performance just continues to be one of my favorites. Kurt Russell, I would toss up there as one of my favorite male actors. Frances McDormand, Viola Davis.
I knew this would happen. Name one, and you've named
yeah,
like 12.
I don't know.
I was going to do the same.
I have no idea. I think the only Christian Bale favorite actor, that is a lock. On the women's side, it could be anyone. There are so many phenomenal women in Hollywood. But even on the male side, after Wonka, I was like, fuck, maybe Timmy is my favorite actor right now.
Yeah, true.
I got one. Or I'll just do one for each. So I tweeted about him yesterday. He's at the top of my mind. Christopher Abbott for actor working today. Love everything he's in. Just can't get enough of him. Working actress, Saoirse Ronan.
Wolfman.
There, just one of each.
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan. God damn, man. Saoirse Ronan's so good.
Seth, what do you got?
Best actor, I'm going to give 3 because he's the first 3 when I think about favorite actor ever. You know, it's easier. Stephen Graham, Al Pacino, Ethan Hawke. There we go.
Yeah, I knew Ethan Hawke. I knew you were going to pull Ethan Hawke.
Actress. Shit. Tilda Swinton, Liv Ullmann,
OC.
Olivia Colman. There we go. Perfect. That's 3. I'm not giving you 1. That's
Shout out OC.
Right, yeah.
This one's fun. What is the last film you recommended to someone that you liked or loved and they hated or just did not
Lost
like?
Highway with Anna 2 weeks ago. She despised it. Ruined me. That's the easy one.
The last film that I recommended that
Mine was probably May, December. I recommended it to Riley's mom after she first texted me. She's like, "What did you think of Leave the World Behind, that new apocalyptic thriller?" And I said, "Didn't really."
That's big, isn't it? Like people are watching.
Yeah, but based on the subject matter, I'm not surprised it kind of spread so big. And like that's also like people just still underrate. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Netflix is dying." It's like the power, like a Netflix original movie can still like, catch on like wildfire. But she's like, "What do you think of this movie?" I'm like, "I didn't love it. Not that great. I wouldn't recommend it." 2.5 hours later, she texts me, "Yeah, I didn't like that movie." I'm like, I told you I didn't like it. But then I said, I went completely opposite. I'm like, try May, December. She also didn't like that one. So 2 fails, even though the first one I didn't even recommend to her and she still watched it anyways. But George, anything you've recommended that people didn't like?
Yeah. Well, one of my friends, this is just the one that recently comes to mind. One of my friends recently watched Silver Linings Playbook, which just to begin with is a very polarizing movie, I think.
I just
he did not
rewatched
like
that.
it.
I loved it. Like more rewatch.
Yeah, I love Silver Linings Playbook. I think everything from the lead performances to the minute supporting performances, everything from the screenplay to the lessons and its thematic richness, that movie's just fantastic. But yeah, one of my best friends, he was texting me throughout the movie, and he was actually texting in our group chat. It's my friend Rob, who's in our fantasy league, Tyler. He didn't like it. I think he went with a 2.5 or a 2 maybe.
Tough scenes.
But it took him 2 tries to even finish the movie.
Tough scenes. I don't know if I said it, but Dean Cotamanitis was the one who asked that question, so shout out to him. Yeah, let's see. So Sean Morales asks, what's a movie you refused to watch for either no reason or you thought you'd hate it, but then you watched it and ended up really liking it? So a movie you just thought you'd hate that you ended up really liking.
I'm gonna sleep. There'll be something on my letterbox happened recently. There'll be some
movie.
Maybe Dungeons and Dragons for you, Seth.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect example. I really, really liked it, and I thought I would.
I mean, I could say Wonka.
No, but you were in the middle of Wonka, though. You weren't.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I would say, I'll say the Super Mario Bros. Movie, just because of the reception that movie got, and I ended up giving it a 3.5. I had a blast with that movie. So, But again, I didn't think I would hate that
Mm-hmm.
movie. I just didn't think I would like it.
Man, my
Yeah.
perfect example is The
Um,
Blackening, because that was back when I would like predict what I would rate movies out of 10 that were coming out that month. And that was like Juneteenth when it came out. And I predicted I would give it a 0.1 out of 10. Like the trailer I just thought looked awful.
Jesus
I
Christ.
thought I hated the trailer so much. I ended up giving like a 3.5 out of 5. And I think it's my favorite comedy the entire year. So yeah, definitely thought I would hate that movie and I ended up loving it.
A 0.1 out of.
I thought the trailer was just terrible. The market, and same with not as extreme, but Joyride. I hated the trailer, and I ended up liking that as well. So
I didn't know if I'd like. There's gonna be loads of options, but The Age of Tomorrow, I didn't know if I'd like that. To be honest, I think it would be
Edge
nice.
Tomorrow, great movie.
Yeah, and I really liked that.
Great movie.
yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons for me.
I mean, and there are a lot of there are so many movies I'm just putting off, but like, not because I think I'm gonna hate them, just because I'm just like, I need to be in like the right, like for like Battle
Yeah.
Royale. I've been meaning to watch Battle Royale for the last decade
Shit
or so, or
bombs.
whenever, however fucking
Mhm.
long ago it came out.
same.
And I don't know. I'm just
You've
every
been
time,
meaning to watch it for 23 years.
every time I come across it and I'm looking for a movie, I'm like, maybe tonight's the night, but like I'm just like I need to be there, like I need to be in that right mindset. every time.
same as me. I hope
I'm not, and there's so many movies like that.
Yeah, definitely.
M. Bates asks, have you ever randomly gotten an idea or concept for a movie series? And I actually have one. I was
yeah.
planning on making a TikTok about this, but it's better to just not just leave for the pod. So reality shows, I think reality shows are getting stale and we need to start combining them, mixing them together. I think a Survivor American Idol crossover where there's hidden immunity idols. They're surviving on an island, have to cook their own food, sleep in the muck, and then they have to get up in front of everyone and sing a song and try and stay and not be voted on. They can find a hidden immunity idol to stay on for another week. Crossover Survivor and American Idol. Another one, Undercover Boss and The Office. I want to see cutaways of like the other coworkers in the office being like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, he just comes in here. He's the shittiest work I've ever seen. He's the CEO of the company. Just start crossing over some shows. Make something fresh.
Yeah.
Make some babies. But what do you guys got? I need to hear your guys' movie or series.
I've thought of a few horror ideas, but I'm gonna keep them right
Yeah.
here. I'm gonna keep them here.
A while ago,
Thinking
I
about it.
watched. It was when I was home on Long Island. And I had watched Evil Dead Rise, and then it was like midnight, and I had to walk my dog. And as I'm walking my dog, I'm thinking this would be like it could be such a good idea for like a short film. Like, dude,
I
just
think you
walk.
said this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've told you guys
Yeah,
this. Like
you
a
did,
short
yeah.
horror film, like a dude just walking his dog at night, like everything, like he's a paranoid, like kind of like a Beau is Afraid type of movie, but he just goes up and down his block once, 10 minutes, that's it, shit in his pants, walking the dog. I don't know, that's it. And then the other day, it was actually so funny you actually bring up this this question, because like 2 weeks ago, I had the most vivid dream that I was making my own coming of age film. It was like when I was like, maybe not 2 weeks ago. It was a little bit after I had watched Almost Famous, and like that was the only thing going through my mind. And I swear I had just the most vivid dream that I was like, I was doing it. I was making this coming of age film. It was getting Oscar buzz. I was doing such a good job. And I woke up and I like forgot the idea. I forgot what the movie was about. But yeah, that was a weird dream.
Yeah, I've got a few thoughts. I like the dog walk dream. I might steal that off you.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
I'll star in it.
Seth, you're keeping your ideas close to the chest in case
I
you
have like a couple ideas, nothing like major, but
Just in case.
I am wanting to make a short horror film in the next couple of years or so.
love that. Evan O'Donnell asks, what is the greatest Christmas movie of all time? Seth, I think I
Die
know your
Hard.
answer immediately.
Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2 or Willy Wonka.
or
Willy Wonka. Willy
Oh.
Wonka's like a fence one, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna
Home Alone
say.
2 is an actual, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Die Hard.
Die Hard. I'll go with The Holdovers just because
Wow.
Oh,
I'm never that high on
interesting.
Christmas movies in general, and that movie is just so comforting to me. I love it, man.
Fair.
And I keep forgetting if I'm saying the name, so sorry. Evan O'Donnell is the one. who
You
knows
are.
that.
You
Okay.
are.
You say the name, did you say the name?
You are saying. the
Okay,
names,
well,
don't
you know
worry.
what? I don't think we'll be upset getting 2 shout outs. So
Double names.
Reese David asks, what is your fondest memory with a film? Like, do you just felt unmatched happiness while watching something?
Lord
I'm
of
sure
the
we have
Rings.
plenty that can pop in our head for something we watch and
I've
we overcome with emotion.
So
Lord of the Rings,
many.
watch it with my dad as a kid and my mom. Just that's probably the funnest. Introducing Anna for the first time to Lord of the Rings, that's a massive fun memory to me. So probably one of them. But I have these fun memories every week. You know what I mean? Wonka. Recently,
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Mhm.
So,
I don't
but
know.
yeah,
Like every
probably one
time I
of them.
watch La La Land, I'm like, it's just a fond memory. It's just a great fucking time. More recently, I guess I've been tossing out Almost Famous a lot, but like that was like just such a fun, incredible experience for me. Just like the most, believe it or not, that was like the fastest 5-star I've ever thrown out after a movie. Like I took to Letterboxd and immediately just pumped those stars all the way up to 5.
For me, it's like introducing someone to a film I love, and them
Yeah.
and them loving it as well. That's like, a huge
Yeah.
thing.
But also,
It's
there's
like-
just so many, even just like from like this, like Godzilla, like
Yeah.
that was just such a
Well, I'm
rush of
going to see-
adrenaline.
I'm going to see next week and going to see Godzilla with my dad, and I know that my dad will love that, and that's going to be
Yeah.
I took my mum to see Banshees, and she loved it, and that was
Mhm.
just such a nice thing. You know what I mean, when like
Yeah.
it's usually introducing people and going to see things that people like.
Yeah,
Who
like
I love
John
and
Wick
that.
4. Like John Wick 4 was such an incredible, seeing it on like that massive Lincoln Square screen this year. Same thing with Across the Spider-Verse. Like, God, this prompt we can do an entire episode.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah.
true.
First thing that comes to mind, like it jogged my memory when you said just showing someone a film. So my buddy came and visited me back in March, and he'd never seen Interstellar, and we watched it. And it was just like one of those moments, like when you show someone a movie and they don't say anything throughout, you're always kind of like, "Fuck!" Like, is this gonna be one of those that the end credit hits? You're like, "So what do you
Are
think?"
you a guy that looks at them, like, just to check their reaction?
Yeah,
Just-
definitely. I'll peek over
It's
and
like,
see like,
give a
what do you
when
think?
yeah.
of
something
this?
happens that's like funny, and you're like,
Yeah, like or like a super sad moment. I'm like, is this hitting? This hitting for you?
I do it all the
I
time.
do
You
that.
did-
I do that with Victoria. One thing about Victoria with when we're like watching a movie at home, she'll go on her phone every so often, even if she's loving the movie. Like she'll check like a quick Instagram or a text.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But like sometimes she'll be like silent watching this movie and then she'll go on her phone and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
oh,
it's always at the worst times to do it as well. It's when you know something's about
Dude,
what happens. and it's
we were watching this comedy special yesterday and she was on her phone for like half the time and I'm like, you are missing some of the funniest shit right now. I was like, fuck, you're not
Yeah.
liking this that much.
Yeah, it's just like when people are silent or they go on their phones, usually like a death sentence. But like when someone's silent, like I'm showing a movie, like he's silent the entire Interstellar, I'm like, oh, this might not be good. But then the movie ended. He's like, that was one of the best movies I've seen in my entire life. I'm like, oh God.
Facts.
Whew.
Oh, God.
This is a long movie too. It's like 2 hours 40. I'm like,
Yeah.
did I just
Yeah.
are you gonna hate me now for the rest of the day that I just wasted your time with this? But thank you, Reese David, for that question. That's a great topic. A lot of these questions are great that we could just like chew on for an entire episode. Final question of the episode, final question of Q&A is by Ferdinando4. What is the best Christmas food? Obviously in America and also Canada, we have
Christmas.
Thanksgiving, but
Ooh.
Christmas food usually a little different but similar. There's a lot of the same players.
Are we saying like the individual food?
Yeah, just like when you're having like a Christmas dinner, whatever holiday dinner you're
What's
celebrating
the
around
best thing
December,
on it?
when you
I
sit
love
down, you
this.
fill up your plate. What's like that one thing you're
Yeah.
like, yes,
Ham, the ham
ham's-
every time.
ham's a
That's the
heavy.
one thing.
ham is so much better than turkey.
But even like on Thanksgiving, like I'll have more ham on my plate than turkey.
Ham is better than turkey, though. Like that's just a
Yeah,
fact.
for sure.
Turkey's dry as fuck, man. Unless you put like loads of stuff on there, it's like a bit. I'll say, we have beef a lot when I have a Christmas dinner with Auntie, so I'll say beef.
Like
I
what
do
kind of like
turkey.
how is it made? Like what kind of beef? Like, is it beef mince?
Um,
Is it beef roast? Is it
No, it's roast. It's roast.
Okay.
I do like some roast beef, and then I don't know. Do you guys know what Yorkshire puddings are by any chance?
yeah? Just only because of the Great British Bake Off.
They're like, it's like a fluffy pastry dough thing, George. They're like crispy, very, 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 very nice. And then roast potatoes as well.
Okay.
They're always great. I am a Brussels guy. I've just fucking hell, man. I'm naming like 10 things. I'll say Yorkshire puddings. I'll say that's my number one.
Nice. So we got ham, Yorkshire pudding. I'll go. My family always makes like cheesy hash browns, and it's just absolutely delicious.
Oh yeah, nice.
Cheesy
nice,
hash
nice.
browns. But also, why is turkey the universal like Thanksgiving food and like holiday
I don't-
meal when it's a food
No.
that 99% of the time people prepare it, they fuck it up. So like why don't we just pick something easier? Like they either make it
Yeah.
dry, they light their house on fire, deep frying it. Like just do ham. You just
Because
throw
if
it in the oven. and it's
Turkey
delicious.
gets so dry as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, turkey
When-
won't be
when
dry
done
if you
well, though.
inject it with syringes every 2 minutes of a 5-hour
True.
process. It's like
When
too
done
much
well,
work.
though, turkey is like amazing, but it's hard.
it's just
to
so
get
hard
right.
for them to do it right.
It's
But
yeah.
those are all the
literally a
questions. Thank you all.